Hey, this is Zeklog the Great. We need heroes. We need martial valor. But what is the source of this? And how do we cultivate it honestly? This is a kind of complicated video. There are three separate ideas I need to explain to connect everything together. And to be honest, it's going to be one of those frustrating videos where I present a problem I don't have any idea of the solution to. I hope you'll stick with me. Let's get this rolling. First, we as a society need to have warriors. We need to cultivate martial virtue. Why? For the exact same reason that it is good for a man to maintain physical fitness and for a free man to be armed. If our society, and particularly our young men, does not have some degree of the martial virtues of discipline, self-sacrifice, teamwork, of willingness to die or to kill for a good cause, we will be dominated by a society that does. This is how the world works. You can wish it were otherwise, but your wishes have no relevance to what's going on in the real world. We live in a world of competition and conflict. Yes, it is not only that, but those elements are real and will remain. Very well. We need martial virtue. How do we get it? There is an old principle in economics, which some people dearly love to ignore, that what you incentivize, you get more of. What you penalize, you get less of. So, do we pay people to have martial valor? Not quite. There are still incentives here, but sometimes they work a little differently. Earlier I used the term cultivate, and that was deliberate. Some things cannot be created on demand, but must grow up naturally in a hospitable environment. Martial virtue is one of those things. And what is that environment? That environment is stories of masculine courage and heroism. Why does every culture have stories of brave warriors, of good kings valiantly leading their men into battle? Because those stories are the soil from which the martial virtues are cultivated. Boys and young men who grow up hearing those stories want to become those kind of men. As I said before, a lot of our morality, in practical rubber hits the road sense, is learned from stories. Those stories can be real, fictional, or a mix of both, but whichever way, they are where we learn these virtues. Now, real stories are more effective than fiction for obvious reasons. This is why, when on my own, I started learning about people like Audie Murphy and Alvin York and Don John of Austria, I was confused and angry. I found these men's stories more or less on my own, while looking for entertainment. I had history classes in high school and college. What were they wasting our time on if they couldn't bother teaching us about these men? What's the point? If your history education doesn't teach us about the heroes of our nation, what are you doing? And now we come to the third and final point, and where I find the real problem. We need martial valor. We need men brought up with these ideals. We cultivate these ideals by promoting stories of heroes of the past. And yet, over the past 100 years, possibly significantly longer, our wars have been pointless at best, horrifically destructive at worst. What were we even trying to accomplish in Iraq and Afghanistan? What good did we do? Why did the US get involved in Europe's war in 1917? It wasn't our problem. Frankly, there's no good reason most European countries got involved in that fight. Why did the US get involved in another world war in 1941? How did any of these benefit the American people? In all of these cases, we absolutely could have minded our own business, protected our own territory, and we would have been just fine. And so, I am left with a conundrum. We need martial virtue. We need warriors. You cultivate martial virtue by sharing with young men stories of great warriors, by honoring your heroes of the past. And yet, most of our heroes within living memory probably should not have been fighting in the first place. What do we do with this? I don't know, but it's worth thinking about. God be with you.